Do you need an ID to rent an apartment in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID if you're going to buy a house and finance it via a mortgage in Texas?
Yes.
Do you know what percentage of Hispanics voted in the last election?
I think it was over 40%.
53%. Hispanic, do you know what percentage of Hispanics are registered to vote in Texas?
No, I do not.
63%. Do you know the percentage of Democrats that support voter ID?
Would you repeat your question?
Do you know the number or percentage of Democrats who support voter ID in this country?
I do not, but I don't think it's a whole lot.
72%. Do you know the number of black and brown and African Americans in this country who support voter ID?
No.
Welcome back. Today I want to take you inside a hearing that cut right through the noise, where Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina delivered what I can only call a reality check on the voter ID debate. No grandstanding, just methodical, fact-driven questions that exposed a contradiction many politicians would rather ignore. Let's set the stage. Nancy Mace didn't shy away from her state's complicated history. She acknowledged the ugly legacy of racism and her own efforts to move South Carolina forward, like voting to remove statues tied to segregation and violence. She made it clear she understands what civil rights mean and the responsibility that comes with them. Before diving in, Mace showed respect for the witness, a trailblazer from Texas with a long, impressive career. No posturing, just a deliberate setup for a real conversation about rights, access, and most importantly, facts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to thank Ms. Thompson. I was a state lawmaker for 3 years before I came to Congress. I represent the 1st Congressional District of South Carolina, and South Carolina has had its own history, very bad history with black South Carolinians, black and brown and African Americans. I recently took a vote to move statues like Supreme Court Justice Taney, removing his bust out of the Capitol Rotunda because he wrote the Dred Scott opinion, the one that said that black and brown and African Americans could not become citizens of the United States of America. I voted to move, someone like Wade Hampton, who encouraged the murder of over 150 black South Carolinians during his run for governor. And so I appreciate your comments about the 60s. I was not around then, but I've watched and read a lot of the history and seen the videos and seen the moments of violence against black America. So I applaud your work on that. My understanding is you were elected in 1972 in Texas. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right, and I applaud you for making history, I imagine, in Texas and being a strong voice for black men and black women. Coming from South Carolina, we've got voter ID, and I'm assuming Texas is the same way. Do y'all need IDs to buy alcohol when you're purchasing at the store?
Yes, to be sure that you are capable of doing that.
Right. Do you need an ID in Texas to buy cigarettes?
You can't buy them unless you're at least 21.
But do you have to show an ID to buy cigarettes?
You have to show an ID.
Do you need an ID when you're getting a job and trying to get on payroll in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID to go to the pharmacy and get a prescription in Texas?
It depends on the prescription.
But do you need an ID for some prescriptions
Yes,
in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID to get Social Security services in Texas?
You do.
Do you need an ID to rent an apartment in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID if you're going to buy a house and finance it via a mortgage in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID in Texas if you're going to board an aircraft and fly commercial?
Yes.
Did you fly commercial or fly a private jet on the way to D.C.?
A chartered plane.
Do you have to show an ID when you fly in a private charter jet?
Yes.
I wouldn't know. I've never flown on one. So did you need an ID to get in the building here today?
Yes.
Do you need an ID in Texas to open a bank account?
Yes.
To cash your check if you're working. Do you know, Representative Thompson, what percentage of blacks in Texas, black and brown African Americans, are registered to vote?
Oh, a huge percentage.
70%. Do you
Yes.
know what percentage of African Americans, black and brown Texans, have voted on average or in the last election?
About 64%.
Correct. Do you know how many whites are registered to vote in Texas?
Far more than African Americans.
72 72%. You have 70% of blacks in Texas who are registered to vote. You have 72% of whites in Texas who are registered to vote. Do you know the percentage of whites who turned out to vote in recent elections?
I want to say over 50-some%.
65%.
Yeah.
Do you know what percentage of Hispanics are registered to vote in Texas?
No, I do not.
63%. Do you know what percentage of Hispanics voted in the last election?
I think it was over 40%.
53%. Hispanics are not voting in as high numbers as blacks and whites in Texas. Do you know the percentage of Democrats that support voter ID?
Would you repeat your question?
Do you know the number or percentage of Democrats who support voter ID in this country?
I do not, but I don't think it's a whole lot.
72%. Do you know the number of black and brown and African Americans in this country who support voter ID?
No.
75%. Do you know the number of Hispanics that support voter ID in this country?
No.
81%. Do you know where the state of Texas is ranked with black voter turnout in this country?
Would black voters turn out?
Mm-hmm. Do you know where Texas is ranked?
Oh, about 44%?
The latest numbers that I read this morning was that Texas is ranked 10th. Do you know where Texas is ranked? So then top 10 in the country. Do you know where Texas is ranked with women voters?
Oh, way up in the 50s.
In the bottom third of this country. So I would argue that Texas has a more difficult problem with getting women out to vote than black and brown and African Americans. Thank you, and I yield back.
Then, she got right to it. Let me put you in the room for a moment. Mace fired off a list of questions, and each one landed clean. Do you need an ID to buy alcohol? Yes. To buy cigarettes? Yes. To get a job, pick up prescriptions, access Social Security, rent an apartment, buy a home, open a bank account, board a plane, or even enter a government building? The answer, every single time, was yes. Her point was impossible to miss. We already accept ID requirements for almost every major part of adult life. Why should voting, the backbone of our democracy, be any different? But Mace didn't stop at logic. She brought the receipts. She cited data from Texas, showing that black voter registration is just as high, sometimes higher than other groups. Black voter turnout, not lagging behind because of ID laws. In fact, Texas is near the top when it comes to black voter participation nationwide. Here's where it gets interesting. Women's turnout in Texas is actually lower. If this was truly about access, shouldn't we be talking about that? The numbers tell a story that talking points don't. If you want more moments like this, where facts cut through the static, go ahead and hit subscribe. Mace also pointed out something you almost never hear on cable news. Most Americans support voter ID. That includes majorities of Democrats, Black Americans, and Hispanic Americans. These aren't fringe opinions. They're mainstream, coming from the very communities often used in arguments against voter ID, but somehow that piece is always missing from the debate. Throughout the hearing, one theme stood out: clarity versus evasion. Mace asked direct questions. The answers she got were vague, sidestepping the real issue. In the end, it was a clash between data and assumptions, and data won. Here's why this matters. This debate isn't about taking anyone's rights away. It's about being consistent. If we require ID to live, work, and move through society, why wouldn't we expect the same standard to protect the integrity of our elections? That's not suppression. It's just common sense. Thanks for watching. For more no-nonsense, fact-first political coverage, you know what to do. Subscribe and join me next time.